Okay, so I got two more questions. I know you love my questions, so I want to get back to your films. Um, I'm not fat, I'm just massive arms. Seems very concurrent with today's society. I mean, people always like to say things like, "Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that." So I had so much fun watching this because that told me you do carry attention to current trends and things.
Yeah, well, you want to know how that one came about?
Of
Okay,
course.
okay, this is the honest to God truth. One night, I had a dream that I was sitting on a wooden porch in the American South, and there was a kind of a hootenanny sort of thing going on where people were getting up and doing musical numbers. And someone got up and sang this song. And then I woke up, and you know how it is when you're having a dream that you're going to forget it. And so I grabbed hold of paper and pen, and I scribbled down the lyrics of this song that someone in this dream had sung to me. And then years later, I was trying to clear off my messy desk, and I found this crumpled piece of paper down at the pile of a bunch of stuff, and it was the lyrics to this song. And I thought, oh, I should do something with this. And so that's how the animation came about. But you were asking me earlier about me having ideas, and I said, well, I don't have ideas. But in this case, it was a dream, and I transcribed what somebody sang to me in this dream. So I don't know what that says about my mind, but there we have it. It was a dream.
Now, as maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, I did notice you go from black and white animation to color animation in this
Yeah.
one's. I don't remember you doing that before. Maybe I missed it or I don't recall, but I really found the color was different in these ones.
Well, yeah. I think that I'm not fat. I've just got massive arms. Is it started off being in color, and then I wanted to make it look more hand drawn, so I made it black and white. But very generally speaking, quite a few of my films where I've mixed live action and animation, I've made those black and white. Partly because very often I'm doing a something related to a particular era. I'm doing something that's like supposed to be 1950 style or 1930 style or whatever, something a bit noir. Um, but then also, I have a fondness for black and white. I grew up watching black and white television, black and white films, and to me, I don't necessarily feel the need for color because I always was able to it in black and white. I was able to get everything I needed from the black and white. So it will vary. Sometimes I do black and white just because I have a fondness for it. Um, but I also do color. But when I do color, I do have a tendency to kind of mess with it, so it's not too realistic. Um, but when I do things in front of the green screen, for example, I mean, the backgrounds are usually things that I have made. They're sort of like um the equivalent of a collage, where I've taken a lot of different elements from different images. Like I was once walking around with a friend of mine in Birmingham, and my friend lives up there, and so she was showing me around, and I was taking photos, and she was looking at what I was photographing. She said, well, there's an awful lot of floor there. And I was like, no, it's the floor I want.
No.
you know because it was like, the floor would be the floor of a room I would make, and then somewhere else I'd be photographing windows, because then I would use those windows in something, and it's like I take all these little elements and put them together and make an environment that doesn't exist. I mean, I'm often photographing displays in department stores, like if it's a furniture display, I'll be taking pictures of that, and then I will, you know, isolate a certain chair that I like the look of, or whatever, also clothing in a store window. I might isolate a dress or something and then put it on the character that I make, so it's not realistic. And the thing is, I don't try to make it look realistic. If you look at it and that this is not a place that exists and this is a lot of disparate elements, that's fine, because that's kind of what I'm going for. And if it looks realistic, then I'll say, oh yes, because I do realism. But it's I just see, I mean, somebody once told me that that one of my films was like watching a dream. It was that level of realism, where it's like it's a dream and things, it feels like it's real while you're in it, but it's not realistic. And some of them, I think that might be a description of. And in the case of this particular film that this person had seen, yeah, it probably was. They said it reminded them of a nightmare, but nothing was realistic in that, and that was intentional. But what I had done was combined a lot of photographs of very real places. I had this what was meant to be a very sort of spooky sort of background just going off into the distance. And what it actually was is I took a picture of a lobby in a very posh hotel in London, but then I messed with it, and I added things to it and I lengthened it so that it went on forever. And so it, by the time I was done with it, it looked nothing like the hotel lobby in London, but that was the basis of it, so it's just, I always mess with them, it's never what life really is like.
Yeah, I know I don't always do this, but I'm going to put this question. Do you usually put people in your shorts? Or sometimes you put complete unknowns in?
Yeah. I mean, they're friends, usually. I mean, once in a while, I will meet somebody who is an actor or whatever, and they say, oh, I'd love to be in one of your films, and but then usually when we've done that, then they become one of my friends, if you see what I mean.
Okay, yes.
But I use my friends, it's like the guy who did the music for the films this year at Horror on Sea. Though that first one, the I'm not fat, I've just got massive arms. I should probably tell you another little bit about that just occurred to me. So when I had the dream, it was in the American South. So the song was actually kind of country and Western, but I did not have the ability to do country and Western music, and I can't sing. But on my iPhone 4, which I made my very first films on, I had an app called Songify, where there were bits of music you could choose from, and then you could kind of talk into the app and it would turn it into a song. And so I had to charge up my old iPhone 4, which I hadn't used in a few years. And I used Songify to make the song into a song. And there was nothing country and Western. So it became more of a, I don't know what style you would call that. It's noise. Anyway, the thing is, because it was on my iPhone 4, and this particular app, it didn't have anything where you could save it to your computer or even save it to the phone and then move it onto the computer. The only way you could save something was to email it. And so I had to use the Gmail app on my old iPhone 4 to email the audio file to myself. And the problem is that you have a Gmail address with the idea that you can use it on different computers. You go into an internet cafe, you can check your Gmail, whatever. Oh, but they do not like it when you use a different phone. I
No.
got all these emails from Gmail saying, you've used a different device. Someone's using a different device. Is this you? And I email back, yes, it's me. I used my old phone because there's an app on there that doesn't work on my current phone. And obviously no human is reading this because I explained it. And oh God, it must have been for a couple of months afterwards. I kept getting these emails from Gmail about, oh, this different device was used, and please. And they finally stopped. One time trying to use the old phone and using the Gmail on it, and God, you think that I had murdered a child. It was just these emails and, oh, it's terrible, what have you done?
I get the same ones.
Yeah, but unfortunately the app only worked on my iPhone 4. They never updated it, I guess, and it didn't work on my iPhone 6. Now I'm up to an iPhone 15 and I don't even have the
good
app.
we're moving up. Good.
We're moving up finally. Yes, though I'm still learning to use the iPhone 15. It's new and everything confuses me.
So is my iPhone 12. So we're about the same boat.
Yeah.
Aliens. I find every short I've ever seen you sent me has an alien. One of them is an alien. Are aliens your favorite thing?
No. There was. Oh yeah, that's true. There is the Danny Thompson one as well. Yeah. No, I was just going for every cliche I could think of.
Okay.
It was just one of those things of what would be the cliches of the things that this could possibly be, and because I had a Shining reference in there, that it was and I had that it was some kind of weather phenomenon and so on. And it's just, I've got some alien characters that already made, so
I know.
throw them in. Why not?
Okay.
So,
I'm finally going to get to fun questions. I think I've covered everything. So now I can ask you some stuff I want to know.
There's more. Okay.
Oh, you're not done. You think I was going to let you go?
Okay, so these are the fun ones, though.
These are the fun ones you cannot prep for. One thing you have never done, but knowing you will get to it.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
I thought you were going to tell me what I haven't done.
No, I would know. You're a world traveler. You know everybody.
Okay. What have I not got round to? Well, I have got some sort of outlines of plots that I have written down and haven't got round to yet. So, and I don't want to go into too much specific about them because I haven't made them yet, but I do have some ideas that I haven't got round to. And the reason that I haven't is that they would probably involve more live action than animation. And though I said that animation is generally more tricky than live action, well, live action, you just tell somebody to do someone. The problem with live action is you've got to get people all available at the same time. And that is like herding cats, and so it's just that thing of getting a load of people all together at the same time in the same place. And I just haven't got round to it. Also, too, I was one or two things that I made sort of, I've written the ideas, but they're kind of complex. And so I do kind of need to figure out how to do them. And there's one I'm I've started at the moment, which I'm working on. And what I'm doing is it's going to have a mix of live action and animation. And this is very often what I do. I will start with the visuals to see what is possible and how it looks before I will write the script, so that I don't write a script that's all full of stuff I can't do. And so I am sort of messing around with the visuals, seeing how things look. And then the visuals will eventually, I'll put most of them together, and then I will get the people together for live action and write the dialogue for them. Also, too, writing the dialogue will depend on who is available on the same day. Because the Cunning Plan, this is one where I will actually spend a little bit of money, is to book a game at a bowling alley. And so however many people that I'm going to have in the thing, what I'll do is, like, I will book a game for, if it's 4 people, a game for like 4, if it's 6 people, a game for 6. And then with my phone, sort of surreptitiously be videoing people in the bowling alley, my friends, not people who are, just bowling. I mean, I'm not using people without their permission. And so the people at the bowling alley will think we're just shooting ourselves doing our bowling, but the Cunning Plan, we'll see if it works, is to bring, like, I ordered some chroma key green tights so that hopefully I can sort of walk around in bowling shoes and then like chroma key out my legs so that it'll be like the bowling shoes walking by themselves. And like I ordered a chroma key green glove with the idea that one of my friends can like lift up a bowling ball and then it'll look like the bowling ball is floating in the air. And the idea is to do all this very subtly so that the people in the bowling alley say, are you making a film here? We don't want that. So we'll see. But that's why at the moment I'm figuring out what is possible. I mean, I've been doing things like having my other half photograph me in the hallway of our house, like wearing the green tights to see, if I can make my legs vanish and stuff like that, see what's actually works. Because it's one thing to do something in front of a green screen when you have the lights and everything, but a bowling alley is not going to be well lit. This may not work, but if nothing else, we'll have a fun afternoon bowling. We'll see what happens.
Okay, number 2, one film Molly Brown has never seen but should have by now.
Oh gosh, what film have I never seen? There are not too many that I haven't
I
seen.
know.
Okay, I will confess. I mentioned in the Danny Thompson film that I was doing the famous scene from Spartacus.
Yes.
I have seen the famous scene from Spartacus. I have not seen the whole film.
I am shocked you've never seen Spartacus, because you're of the age to see
Oh, yeah.
Spartacus.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But no, I may have seen it on television and forgotten that I saw the whole thing. But I think that I have seen enough clips of it that I feel like I've seen it.
Fair
But
enough.
I think that I possibly have not. And the reason I say it's one I probably should have seen is simply because of the fact that I satirized or I didn't satirize it, but I used it as the inspiration for a 3.5-minute short. I used one scene from it, and so it seems like, well, yeah, I really should have watched the whole film. But I mean, basically, not being funny, I've seen I've seen
Everything,
most
I think.
films. I've
I
seen a
know.
lot of them, a lot. You know, I mean,
Okay.
of course, there's films I haven't seen, but right now I can't think of ones that.
This is an easy question for you then. The last one I have for you. Name one film you recommend to people to watch
Ooh.
since you've seen everything.
Well, again, that is difficult because there are so many.
Give me
There
a
are,
few.
okay, well, one, I haven't seen it for many, many, many years, but I kind of blame it for the way my life has turned out. And that is A Thousand Clowns. Have you ever seen that?
I've never even heard of this.
Okay, A Thousand Clowns, it's early 60s film. It starred Jason Robards, Martin Balsam, and a
Love Martin
young
Wilson.
Barbara Harris. And it was based on a stage play by a man named Herb Gardner. And I do have a fondness for films that are based on stage plays because there is a plotting to a stage play that you can just tell, you know, by the way it's constructed and everything. It really, you have a much more tightly constructed sort of film usually. And A Thousand Clowns begins with a scene of Jason Robards with his nephew, who he is basically taking care of because his sister has gone off who knows where and left the kid with him. And they're in this deserted New York street very, very early in the morning. And then Jason Robards says to the kid, "You are about to see something terrible. People going to work."
Ah,
And then the street suddenly fills with New Yorkers and it's the rush hour and everybody, you know, the huge crowds and piling onto trains and everything. And that's sort of what's going on under the opening credits. And the whole thing of Jason Robards' character is that he was a writer for a children's television show. And they want him to come back, but he doesn't want to work for anybody else. And he lives in an apartment over an abandoned Chinese restaurant. And it's just basically how everybody is coming. You've got to get a job. You know, social workers are coming. They're going to take the nephew away unless he gets a job. And basically, I say that it ruined my life because I turned into Jason Robards.
yeah.
You know, I grew up to be Jason Robards in that film. I do not live above an abandoned Chinese restaurant, but I would if I could. You know, it's just sort of so maybe I'll just stick with that because it's one a lot of people apparently don't know. You don't
No,
know
I've
it.
never heard of it. I will
So
watch it this week.
yeah. I mean, so again, there are zillions and zillions, but I'll just stick with that one because that one probably ruined my life. Who knows? I might have been an executive, you know, or
Maybe.
something. Who knows? Who knows? But I saw that at the wrong age, and I became the guy who just wants to do artistic things and not go to an office every day, you know, and his character is, you could say, eccentric. You know,
Okay.
he goes out into the street and he's shouting at the empty apartment buildings when there's nobody there, and he's like saying, you know, campers, you know, and stuff like that. And he's just sort of, oh, and one of the things is he gives his nephew doesn't have a name. And he has told his nephew that he can choose his own name when he reaches a particular age. And so every week the nephew goes to the library and gets a library card in a different name to try it out. And so
Yeah.
as the film starts, the nephew is Dr. Morris Fishbein. It's like, and it's just sort of, it influenced me at an early age, and I blame it for everything. So,
Perfect. Before I let you go, we have to tell everybody where to find your fantastic work.
oh yeah, well, Horror on Sea in January. It's the oh gosh, I don't have the calendar in front of me. It's the second weekend of the festival. It's Friday, it might be Friday the 19th. I'm looking at a calendar on my
festival schedule. I'm pulling it up for you.
oh great, yeah, because it's the second Friday. It's 8 p.m. on the second Friday of the
Be
festival.
the 19th.
The 19th. Okay, yeah. So it is the 19th of January. Horror on Sea.
Horoscopes. Well, yeah, Weird World of Molly Brown.
Yeah,
Friday
yeah.
the 19th at 8:00.
8 o'clock. That's Southend-on-Sea in the UK. And it is one of my favorite festivals, at probably my absolute favorite. It's very fun. A lot of people, the same people year after year after year. The guy who runs it, the festival director, Paul Cockgrove, great guy. He's been screening my films since 2014 in every edition of the festival, and he's the one who came up with The Weird World of Molly Brown as a title. I would never put my own name in the title because I'm much too shy and modest.
I do not believe that for a second.
Oh, it's the truth. I would call it some shorts by some woman you never heard of. That would be my title. But that's coming up in January. And you mentioned that people should look at my YouTube. Well, it's Molly Brains, Molly, and then brains like a zombie brains with a Z at the end, or a Z in North America rather than an S. But be warned, most of my films are not public. So what you will see on the YouTube channel are a very small selection of mostly not that recent. The good stuff's under the counter. So you have to ask me for the unlisted URLs for the good stuff, the recent. But I'm around different things, but it's but I'm happy that you like my stuff. That's nice.
Yeah, before I let you go, I have one last thing to say. People, if you are at the Horror by the Sea or any festival she's at, drop by and say hi. She will be happy to see you. She'll take a photo with you and she'll chat with you. So please, 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 anybody that sees her, say hi to her. She's always happy.
Oh, well, that's very kind. And that's true. I mean, I'm always happy to talk to people at screenings.
Oh, I know that. I know.
Yeah, so the trouble is shutting me up. That's the difficult bit.
Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Well, thank you. It's been so much fun to be interviewed by you again. This is our third time.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'll leave it to you to say goodbye.
Goodbye.